Welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you bottom of the 8th inning. Rangers down 7-0 to the lowly Los Angeles Angels and about to lose 3 of 4 after what feels like forever ago winning Monday night in epic fashion. Extra innings. Brandon Nimmo, big hit. Jake Berger, little bloop over the second baseman. 4-1 win. That feels like forever ago. And here we are, just 3 nights later, 72 hours later, feeling like this might be the nail in the coffin. I will never give up on this team until they're mathematically eliminated. And I just want to be so clear about that the rest of the way. And look, we've endured 24, we've endured 25, and the longtime followers of the show, you know this. Until they are mathematically eliminated, we'll continue doing our thing. We love this team, always will, but I'm not going to lie. A game like this, a series like this, feels like the nail in the coffin. Will I keep trying to find positives? Will I keep trying to find reasons that they may still have a shot? Yes, I will. I just can't do the eternal negativity, although I will surely call it out when I see it. But I am still going to remain covering this team as long as they are still in the race. More than anything, I just have to say this. I'm a fan first, and you guys know that. And it's just sad to watch, knowing what we went through in 2023 and reflecting on where we're at right now. I think that's what gets me the most. What's always got me. You had the highest of highs in 2023, and then 24, 25, 26 just hasn't looked anything similar. And it hurts. I mean, just a few moments ago, I almost become at a loss for words at times. Just how painful it is seeing the ownership, the front office squander a championship. And I know that's so weird to say in the same sentence, but you had this championship window. You had this World Series in a bottle. And I just feel like you could have multiplied it if you would have just had an aggressive mentality in the aftermath instead of sitting back, being comfortable, not really going all in, staying conservative. Is that arrogance? Is that hubris? Is that thinking that you know better? Thinking that you can duplicate 2023? Of course, you had the big guns. You had, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien getting paid a lot of money. You had contracts invested in 2023. But you also had guys that really overperformed. I think the Rangers made the biggest mistake that they could have made. It's so reminiscent of the 2011 Dallas Mavericks for all of you that are Mavericks fans. When Mark Cuban, in the aftermath of the 2011 championship, Dirk's first ring, totally gutted the championship team. Now, the Rangers didn't quite do that, but they decided to not invest, to not reinvest all of the goodwill, all of the money. Let's be real. World Series championships, they bring in money. You had an entire postseason of playoffs. You had so many reasons to push the chips to the center of the table after the team won in 2023. And what you've seen from there on out is the Rangers just trying to continually piecemeal things together and then gaslight the entire fan base into thinking that we're watching something above average. I'll go back to one of my videos that I made in the offseason. Stop gassing up mediocrity. Stop gassing up mediocrity. This was a mediocre team at best coming out of the offseason. Are there 9 million ways you can convince yourself that, Tyler Alexander is going to be a sleeper steal of the free agency? with some of the advanced stats, blah, blah. Yes, it is. You can do that all day long. Man, you can do that all day long. There's so much baseball savant coping that you've had to do with this team. I'm guilty too. I want to make sure I'm clear on that. I'm tired of the baseball savant coping as Evan Carter strikes out here in the top of the ninth. You know what I was noticing the other day? I haven't shared this yet, and I've been thinking about it the last couple of days. It's nothing too profound, but you really don't look up baseball savant stats, at least I don't, for players that you just know are good. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time, and I know that this is going to seem a little bit ironic, maybe, but I can't tell you the last time I looked up until this season, right? Until this season, Jacob deGrom's baseball savant page. Like, I know Jacob did not have a good game tonight, and I'll admit this season has definitely led me to the page, but there are certain players where you're not even worried about what the advanced stats look like because they're producing. They're producing. I am tired of trying to have to do cartwheels and flips and loop-de-loops to feel good about the roster. It's not a great offense as currently constructed. Does Josh Young help? Absolutely, he helps. Does the fact that you've got Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter in humongous slumps really hurt? Yes, it does. But that's not necessarily surprising. Wyatt Langford has never had that season where he's out of this world, crushed it. Has he shown you positive signs? 100%. Does he have talent? Yes. Does he have pedigree? Yes. But Wyatt has had stretches like this before. That's kind of the knock on him, right? The lack of consistency. That's the knock on the team in general, is lack of consistency. You've got star players that are underperforming. Corey Seager hitting the ball hard this series, but by and large, you look at the numbers and not good. Just not good. Rangers needed so many things to fall this year, so many things to go right this year in order to be successful. You needed the pitching to be within a shade of what it was last year. It hasn't been. Austin Wins, I can't even by the way, I'm sorry. Austin Wins, what are you challenging this for? What are you challenging this for, my guy? Austin Wins has struck out looking multiple times tonight, and this may have been the worst one. Austin, come on, baby. I tweeted this out. I've never missed Danny Jansen as much as I do right now. I never thought I'd be saying that tonight. I've never missed Danny Jansen as much as I do now. As we were saying, bringing this full circle, Rangers end up losing 7-0. Game finally comes to an end. Mercifully comes to an end. You've got so many different scenarios where you needed certain players to overperform what they had done last year. Berger bounced back. Jock bounced back. That worked out, obviously. Josh Young bounced back, worked out. But, Corey Seager didn't have the greatest of years last year. Followed it up with a meh year this year. Corey would have to go on an all-time tear for anybody to say he's having a good season. You put a lot of pressure on Brandon Nimmo. Needed Nimmo to be an above-average ball player, not just addition by subtraction. And Nimmo, by and large, recently has been pretty solid. 786 OPS, not bad. Evan Carter, though, I think Wyatt Langford are the two biggest ones. Those two guys not hitting well has really hurt the team over this stretch, over this series, and really over the course of the entire season. And it's not just them, right? It's not just them at all. And I'll go back to Corey Seager. I know he had 3 hits tonight. 202, 695 OPS. Seager, Carter, and then also Wyatt Langford, to me, stand out as the guys that the Rangers need as the stars of this team to shine when the team needs it most. And they just haven't found a way to do that consistently in big moments. It's easy to look at stats in a vacuum. And I said this maybe like a week or two ago, but some of these stars need to decide that this isn't good enough. And you just don't see as much step up as you need to take this team from average 60 and now 62 to above average. The stars are not stopping the skids. You needed a monster game tonight from Wyatt. You needed a great game today from Evan Carter. I know he had a single to break up the no-hitter. And you're just not getting those big performances. Corey Seager had, actually, I'm looking at the box score from the other night. Seager didn't have 3 hits tonight. That was last night. My mistake on that. You needed Seager to step up. Nobody today. Nobody. In a big game where you need a split. It's just sad. Like I said, fan first here. Analysis second. Pretty good analysis, but analysis second. I just am depressed after a series like this. It's a little bit of anger, but it's more just like depression. Getting whomped by the Angels 3 games in a row. All right. Long intro. Appreciate you hanging out. We will talk more. I've got a few more points, but I want to get you guys involved. You guys are the real ones. It's almost midnight in Texas, and you're still hanging out. Game and Eagle, I appreciate you, man. Game and Eagle says, so tired of having hope for this team. Every time they get any kind of momentum, they always fall apart after. Fire Veely and the athletic trainers, reboot the lineup. It isn't working. I have to admit, regardless of how this season goes, I wouldn't be a fan of bringing the band back together. Can we agree on that? Or do we, let's just hypothetically, the Rangers win the World Series this year. I know that's ridiculous to say out loud, but just hang with me. Hypothetically, the Rangers win the World Series. I would still say, don't bring it back. Don't. I know that's a weird take, but I don't think I would run it back with this group again. I would be happy that I got the shot in the dark. See, I feel a little differently about the 2023 team. No matter what happens, I think you reboot. I don't think you bring the boys back together for one more hurrah. I think everybody who's been a longtime listener of this show, I hope you pick up what I'm throwing down right now. If they caught fire and suddenly just totally took over and dominated, I would still be saying this is the time to potentially sell high on some players and start the future. You do not want to roll the dice again, man. It's like you're at a casino, you're hot, but man, you've taken some shots along the way. You just won a really, really big bet. Do you really want to put another one down? That's kind of what I would be thinking if the Rangers ended up winning it all this year. I want to see a little bit of a reboot for sure in the offseason. Either way, whether they make the playoffs or not, whether they win the World Series or not, I think it is time to move on from some players to welcome in some young talent. Sebastian Walcott, anybody? I think it's time. I think that's okay. You don't have to get rid of everybody. I don't think it needs to be like a total gut of the roster, but you definitely need to reboot at certain positions. And I just think either way, even if the Rangers were to go on and win it all, I'd be saying sell high on some players. Bring back a few guys who are controllable, sell high on some other players if you can. James makes a good point. I mean, who knows? The comment is nobody's taking our guys in the offseason with slim to none chance of a season happening next year. That is a fair point. That's a fair point. You never know how talks are going to unfold. It's not looking great, but I will say, if you are able to, that is the way. If you're able to spend some time offloading a few players in the offseason, do it. This is kind of the big one for me, and it's disappointing because the Rangers aren't going to get any value for Jock, and they could have at the deadline. Uh, I've told you guys for so long, trade Jock. You can still possibly make the playoffs without him. With or without Jock, I think you could have made the playoffs, which is weird because he's been our best hitter. But you see after nights like tonight exactly what I'm talking about. Like it doesn't matter. Jock was on base twice again. He's been on base multiple times, and I think every game he's played in this series, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because it's not Jock. It's other guys that aren't hitting. It's Wyatt Langford not hitting. It's Corey Seager not coming through. Seager 0 for 2 tonight. Eventually pinch hit for Diaz. Brandon Nimmo 0 for. Evan Carter 1 for 4. Foscue 0 for 3. It's just a number of different guys. Game and Eagle, thank you so much for the gift, by the way. I want to make sure I say that again if I didn't already. Jock has an option. It's not a player option, Matt. It's a mutual option, which rarely works out. Mutual options rarely work out. It's always a little bit of cat and mouse when it comes to those things. So, yeah, Matt, they're not gonna exercise the option on Jock. That would make little to no sense. They're trying to cut corners left and right, save money, save pennies. I don't think they're re-upping Jock at $18.5 million. I think they're going to let that sail off into the sunset. And I would too. That's why I would have traded Jock at the deadline. Got a little value, maybe got a nice little low A, high A, maybe even prospect for him, and been happy to save $4 or $5 million, whatever was left. That would have been nice. They didn't do it. They really, decided after deGrom said no, after deGrom vetoed the trade, or, I know he didn't veto the trade necessarily, but when deGrom wouldn't waive the no trade, they really waved the white flag instead of getting creative. And you know what? I understand what deGrom said, is rah and passionate, but that's exactly the kind of stuff that CY is paid to overlook. Who cares what deGrom says? Who cares if deGrom thinks we can win here? It doesn't matter. Do what's best for the franchise and for the organization, right? Like I said it when it happened. Like it's inspiring. It's definitely like, hey, respect to him. But nevertheless, I think CY should have risen above that and still made some moves to get some value out of certain players. Instead, you're at a tough spot here where you obviously could still rally, maybe make October. I still submit you could have sold a little bit more and potentially still been in a spot to win some games and make it interesting. We keep going. Who knows what we could have gotten? Kate, I do wonder, what could we have gotten? It's kind of the comment here. We could have gotten Cam and Nitty for deGrom. So mad at deGrom for declining it. I'm not mad at deGrom. It's his choice. He worked the contract. The Rangers gave him the no trade clause. Like, I can't be mad at deGrom, but it's disappointing. It's disappointing because now deGrom's hurt. He only goes 2 innings today. I feel bad for JDG. I really do. But I can say very confidently, yeah, he deserves a little bit of heat. He deserves some criticism. You rah-rah'd everybody. We can win here. I believe we can win here. And then your team takes a massive dump against one of the worst teams in baseball. You can't say that, and then get hurt. I know you can't control everything, can't control injuries, but you can't say that and then go out and get hurt while your team takes, like I said, a huge huge dump on this entire series. Like it's just really, really ridiculous how bad the Rangers finished the last 3 games here. Hardly scoring any runs, 5 hits. I mean, they made it a little more respectable. The hits were 15-3 at one point. deGrom just can't come out of this without egg on his face. I think he's a competitor. Obviously, I think he's one of the best to ever do it, regardless of what these final years of his career are going to look like with Texas. And I think he probably gets one more contract if he wants to pitch. Maybe not with us, but with somebody else. You just can't walk out of this without some egg on your face. You rah-rahed the team, you gave the encouraging talk, and then you ultimately got hurt in a game that the Rangers really, really needed. Really needed. Yeah, triceps fatigue for anybody who's curious. Dan, thank you for that. Yeah, right triceps fatigue for Jacob deGrom. And look, they baby deGrom to no end. It's very possible that it's not a big deal or not overly serious, but they just baby him to no end. You do wonder, the comment here, Kachow, what's good? Osuna's out there in a Frisco hotel laughing at the score right now. Where are they right now? I mean, he's down at Round Rock, to be fair, but the illustration is still spot on. Osuna should be playing right now. Again, Jared Kelenic up for Osuna is one of the most ridiculous things ever. I don't care how much Jared Kelenic was crushing it at the minor league level. The dude has been a non-factor since his time up with the club. I don't care about the base hit that he got today. It's non-factor stuff. You should be playing Osuna. 100% you should be playing Osuna. At least he's getting playing time. Cade makes a good point here. This is a YouTube comment. At least Osuna's playing first in Round Rock right now. It's a good point. At least he's getting the time. And that tells me that Jake Berger is probably going to be getting platooned sooner rather than later. Jake Berger benched today. I figured that would be the case against a tough righty. Ureña, by the way, has not given up a run against the Rangers. He's pitched now 10 scoreless innings against Texas. Spotless 2.67 ERA. Not entirely spotless, but you get the point. He's been very, very good. 100 miles an hour on the sinker like every other pitch. My goodness. That's a young talent for sure. And to be 8-8, we're talking about Ureña, the starter for the Angels. To be 8-8 on the Angels is pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. Watch Osuna come back and everything turns around. That's a comment from TikTok, by the way. That would be my dream. Oh, that would be a dream come true. They call up Osuna and the Rangers go on like a 10-game win streak. Oh, you would never hear the end of it from me. You would never hear the end of it from me. That would be awesome. I would love that. Gary, what's good? I fear that you are correct. The comment from Gary on TikTok is RIP Texas 2026 season. It does feel like the nail in the coffin. Jeremy asks from YouTube, lowest point of the season. I think yes. I think yes, considering we're at August 13th. You had all of this momentum coming into this series, and then you won Monday, and you kind of had an extra dose of momentum, and you're on this stretch where you're supposed to be winning. You're supposed to be winning. You're supposed to be taking advantage of these games. And, it just brings me back to something that we all debated and talked about at the beginning of the year. Remember, there was so much made of the first 40 games and how tough the first 40 games were. And I kept telling you guys, it doesn't matter. The schedule doesn't matter. You have to beat the teams that are in front of you. And the reality is, if you want to be a team that's lifting that trophy at the end of the year, you've got to beat good teams. And so I'm not sitting there at any point this year trying to cope with the schedule like I saw many people do. I don't even have specific people in mind. I have a couple. Actually, God bless them. I like Jared, but Jared was one of them. I'm just watching the post-game show here. Jared, I know, brought up the schedule a lot at the beginning of the year, and I pretty consistently said it doesn't matter. You've got to beat good teams to have a successful season. You can't stink it up against the top teams in baseball and then say, hey, we're going to be fine because we're going to beat up on the teams that suck. Because then you just have things like this happen where you lose against the teams that are bad, and it's a bit inexplicable. There's not a lot of great concrete reasons for it, but weirdly, you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you're punting the games against good teams and you're telling yourself you're coping with, well, we're playing bad teams coming up, so it's all good. We know the Rangers all too well. The Rangers have done this like so frequently. They lose to the teams that they're supposed to beat. If you've watched the Rangers over the last 2 or 3 years, you know this. They constantly lose to the teams they're supposed to beat. It's rare they go on like a dominating stretch against a bunch of bad teams stacked up like they've got right now with the Giants, the Angels, the A's, the Nationals. Avi Ortiz playing for the Nationals, by the way, that dude is going to absolutely destroy us when he comes to town next week. I would almost guarantee he has like the series of his life playing back at Globe Life. I would almost guarantee it. Like Avi Ortiz, after getting traded for Mackenzie Gore, I feel like he is going to come back to Arlington and just set it on fire. We keep going. I'm not sure. I would imagine Bamila with the injury. It's so hard to tell. What have they said? I honestly haven't done a lot of research on their plan for him. I mean, look, I'll say this. It's always more beneficial to develop a starting pitcher in terms of value. And so I think they would be a little foolish not to at least try to develop him as a starting pitcher. Any guy that's on the fringe, I mean, it's just, again, the business of baseball. Starting pitching is more valuable than relief pitching. Rangers would be wise to try and develop him as a starter. Maybe it doesn't work out, but at least try. Like, at least try. That would be my call with him. A couple of things. I'll keep checking comments here. Maybe we come back. Dev, what's good, man? Comment from TikTok here, y'all. Maybe we come back. We always lose to the bad teams, then sweep the Rays. I mean, that didn't quite happen, but I get the sentiment. Like, we probably will go up against a tough team, have a really good series, and you'll kind of start believing a little bit again. Rangers, by the way, if you're thinking about the standings at this moment in time, Houston obviously was idle today, so they gain a half game by nature of the Rangers losing. Rangers are, for all intents and purposes, 3 games out. 3 games out because of the tiebreaker. They are a half game out in the wild card. And I know it's crazy. I know there's going to be some people maybe clapping back at some of the negativity tonight because, dude, they're a half game out. Come on. They're a half game out of the wild card. I just think you got to consider the full body of work. Consider the full body of work here. Don't just look at the standings and put that in a box and bury your head in the sand to everything else. Yes, they're a half game out. You're foolish if you think that this team is just fine. They're not. They're not just fine. There's a lot of issues on this team. They have a negative 41 run differential for a reason. Their expected win-loss is 8 games under 500, 57 and 65. They are a good team at home. They are a bad team on the road. And so, look, the home advantage for Texas continues to be a thing. They're 5 games over 500 at home. They are 7 games under 500 on the road. We are going to absolutely have to light it up in the next homestand if we want to have a shot. I think the Rangers could possibly still make October. Maybe that is still in the cards. It doesn't feel like it after tonight, but it's obviously possible. There's no denying that. It's obviously possible Texas plays in October. But what doesn't feel possible is something greater than that right now. I told you guys, if the Rangers didn't make any moves at the deadline, I didn't feel like they were going to win the World Series. And I'll stand by that. And you know what? Somebody can clip this and dunk on me, and it'll be great. We'll all laugh about it, and it'll be awesome. But I just really did not feel like this team is capable of winning it all without moves at the deadline. And to an extent, I think you can say the front office and the ownership didn't really think this team could win a World Series either. Because, again, I've said this so many times, and I want to make this point as many times as I can. What do you do if you're a front office that believes in your team? You buy. Like, if you believe in your team, you buy. You don't stand pat. You don't consider selling Jacob deGrom. You buy. It's as simple as that. So I'm not going to say no confidence, but I am going to say it's clear that the front office and the ownership did not feel like this team is a real legit contender. There's no other way to spin it. I've seen some people try to spin it like, there's so much belief in the team. No, that's not how it works. If you believe in the team, you buy. CY can't say he's wrong, is the comment here from Cade on YouTube. I think there's some truth to that. I definitely think there's some ego. I've said that many times. There's some ego involved for sure. There's been some bad signings. And the Rangers have not been right on enough of their bets this year. They were right on the Jock bet. I would say they were right on Josh Young. This injury is not helping. If he is out for, more time, misses most of the season, that bet might start going the other direction. But they haven't been right on enough of their bets. They bet that the team pitching would be as good, or at least not that much of a drop off from 2025. It's been a pretty big drop off. deGrom and Evo have dropped off significantly from where they were at in 2025. Evaldi especially. I mean, Evaldi last year was lights out. Faith without, we're getting a little biblical here on the show. Faith without works is dead, just like this ball club. Very nice, my guy. I applaud you. I applaud you for that. That's a good one. Hey, look, I appreciate you bringing a smile. That's a good one. Wish I would have come up with that. It's so true, though. I mean, there's all this faith and hope in the team. There's all this faith and hope in the team in the offseason. This guy's going to rebound. This guy's going to have a better year. We know that this guy is capable of being a big-time contributor for this club. And if we all just get healthy, this is an elite team. There's so much faith. But all that matters is what happens between the white lines. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. What happens between the white lines? And right now, what's happened between the white lines are 60 wins and 62 losses. This is a losing baseball team right now. And yes, they're a half game out. Yes, there is still hope. They are not mathematically eliminated, not by a long shot. As I said at the beginning of the show, I will continue to cover this team, and I will even cover them after they are mathematically eliminated, as I've done every year that I've been doing this. The conversation shifts when that happens, right? You start talking about the next year. You start watching for different things. But I'll still be here, not giving up on the team. And you know what? Remember this time right now, because In my humble opinion, if you're a true fan, if you're a diehard of the team, we can agree to disagree if you're not riding with me on this one. You don't quit on them. You can be pissed off at them, but you don't quit on them. I'm not going to quit on this team. I hate what I'm watching right now. Hate it. I hate that they cannot take advantage of clear opportunities right in front of their face. They go out to play one of the worst teams in baseball and totally soil the bed. But I'm not giving up. It feels like a nail in the coffin type game. It does. I'm not going to sit here disingenuously and say that I don't feel otherwise. I do. But I always fight that because I love this team and I want to see them do well. The people that are rooting for this team to lose ball games, I can never do that. Can never root for this team to lose. I don't give a crap about the draft pick. Are we serious? Anybody that's like, let's just tank and lose, who cares about the draft pick? I hate to be negative, but the Rangers probably aren't going to hit a home run on the draft pick anyways. Like, let's just call a spade, man. Wyatt Langford was definitely a nice hit. I mean, it's not like he is, all-star looking like a first ballot Hall of Famer right now, but Wyatt Langford was a hit. They also drafted Cole Winn in the first round. They also drafted Justin Foscue in the first round. And they've drafted a number of players in the first round. It's definitely not a foregone conclusion that, the Rangers are going to pick up their next franchise player if they just lose some ball games in 2026 and get a higher draft pick. Exactly, Sugi. It's the comment here on YouTube. I want to make sure I read these for all you guys. Tanking won't do the Rangers any good because we can't develop any of our players anyways. I mean, we develop a few here and there. The Rangers haven't totally whiffed on every prospect and the development of every player, but there are a lot of misses. There's a lot of misses. I'm not sitting around hoping that a draft pick solves everything. Jacob deGrom talking. I got him quiet in the background. I'll see if he says anything interesting while we're going at it here back and forth. deGrom said he could have kept going. That is what everybody says. If we're being honest, everybody says after an injury, I could have kept going. Angels, Dev says, have had our number all year. This is a TikTok comment. So I see the vision, but it's hard to be positive right now. It is. It's hard to be positive right now. Worse than the Astros series. Didn't think that was possible, Justin says. Are we becoming the farm for the rest of the league? This is another TikTok comment. I mean, looks like it with Abby Ortiz. That's for sure. That is for sure. Hey, man, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I try to be honest. I mean, I love this team, but it's not good right now. You losing 3 out of 4 to the Angels. I mean, who can sit in front of a camera right now and say this team is going to the World Series and win it at all? I mean, honestly, I do think there's going to be some creators out there rah-rahing a little bit. I've got a few in my mind right now, and it takes everything for me not to comment, but I'm like, just don't be disingenuous. Nobody's feeling great about the Angels series, and there is a time to be glass half full, but it's not after tonight. It's not the time to be glass half full tonight. This was embarrassing. Like, this was an embarrassing game. I know I've already tried to be a little glass half full. The most glass half full I can really be after a game like this is just to say, at least we're not mathematically eliminated. Like, we're not mathematically eliminated. There's your glass half full. There it is. But, even to say we're only a half game out, I guess maybe that's a little bit of a glass half full, a half game out of the wild card, but we're just talking numbers. We're just talking math. There's not a lot of things to point to on the field that you're feeling great about. I think that's the best way to frame it, if I do say so myself. Like, you can bury your head in the standings all you want. Half game out, 2 games back of Houston. Are you watching the product on the field? Are you watching the players? You watching the games? Like, yeah, we definitely can just look at the standings devoid of anything that we're watching with our own eyes, baseball related. But I think the people that have watched this team night in and night out, like me and like all of you, understand the limitations this team clearly has playing in the worst division in baseball. The worst division in baseball. The buzzer era. Somebody from YouTube, Kachow, what's good, man? Great comment. The buzzer era, the tumultuous buzzer era, man. Too much. Too much. Ugh. Is this a worse team than 2025? Yikes. What a question. Well, you have to remember, this is kind of like, I hadn't really thought about this, but we are getting close to the 1-year Annie of the Little Rascals run. That team went on that 16-4 run right around this time, wasn't it? I think it was like mid-August. They went on that 16-4 run. Have the Rangers had a 16-4 run in 2026? I don't think so. That's a great question, Jeremy. Again, the question is this a worse team than last year? Little Rascals run last year, 16-4. It started literally right around this time last year, and they went into September with a legitimate chance to make the playoffs before Adolis Garcia came back. And it wasn't all Dolly's fault. I know I kind of jokingly give him a little bit of the blame, and Bruce Bochy for just inserting him right back into the lineup. But, I equate it to this. Like, how in basketball, specifically NBA, like I remember, some of the Mavericks teams, and I know some of you guys are Spurs fans too. So even Popovich with the Spurs would do this sometimes. Like, if your second team brings you all the way back from a 20-point deficit in an NBA game, a lot of those old school coaches, man, what do? Do they put back in the starters when the bench unit has brought them all the way back from a comeback? No, they don't. They leave in many cases, the second team that actually got you there. I think that the Rangers have had issues with feeling out who to play and who not to play, and they are just so tied to certain players in certain positions in the lineup. It's definitely a bit devoid of feel at times for this Rangers front office and coaching staff. You have just very mindless, robotic decisions being made, in my opinion. There's not a lot of feel to it. I don't understand in almost every game certain decisions that are made with the lineup, demotions, pinch hits, substitutions. There's always something. Always something. It's odd. And look, last year's team was not a great team either, but it felt a little more fun than this. And I mean, look, again, last year, right around this time, it was Little Rascal Central. Ron Washington would be incredible to have right now. Wash is honestly probably what this team needs. He would rub some guys the wrong way, but it would make them uncomfortable, and it would probably be better in the long run for the team. I don't see Skip as an apple cart upsetter. I see Skip as kind of a guy that's there to steady the ship and manage the personalities and kind of keep harmony, try and, marry the front office and their views and beliefs, and the analytics and everything. Ron Washington would be, tearing these guys a new one. He really would. He'd be ripping these guys a new one. And I think that this team needs that. And unfortunately, the last 3 managers they've had, Bochy included. Bochy, I think he could get fired up at times. I don't know if it was older age, but it didn't really feel like Boch ever got super upset about anything. He had his moments, but even Boch felt like a little bit reserved. I would love to have a manager that is lighting a fire under some of these dudes. I don't know if Wash would even come back. I think he probably would if you offered him the job. He's coaching for the Giants right now. I imagine you offered Ron the job, he would come back, but they're, you know, they're married to Skip, man. They're not dumping Skip after this year. I just don't see it happening. I really don't. I think Skip gets at least one more year, but you know what? If they got rid of Skip and hired Ron Washington tomorrow, what do you think the typical or the general reaction would be from the fan base? I think there would be a lot of Rangers fans that would appreciate the Wash move. Don't you? I don't know a lot of fans that are super attached or connected to Skip Schumacher. I think a lot of fans would take Ron Washington over Skip in a heartbeat. I don't think there's just not a lot of connection. In fact, I think Skip has done some things to actually drive connection apart, and I've talked about some of that. And look, we can joke about Skip blocking me and other Rangers creators, which he's totally done. I mean, trust you guys know I'm not here to make things up and lie to you. Um, but Skip has done a poor job, I think, really connecting with the fan base, and that's on him. He probably doesn't care, but that is my humble opinion. I don't think he's done a great job connecting with the fan base. If you win, then that doesn't really matter as much, right? If you win games, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Winning cures everything. But if you're a losing team, which the Rangers are right now, everything else gets magnified. Everything else. Again, you let go of Skip tomorrow and you hire Ron Washington. I don't think that there's going to be a lot of Rangers fans that are upset. I wouldn't be. Do I think Wash is going to be like some savior? Not necessarily. I really don't. I would tell you guys if I thought Wash was like going to unlock an instant World Series for us. I don't think so. But this team just needs freshness. They just need something different. They really tried to maintain the clubhouse, the culture thing over the last 2 or 3 years. And, Corey Seager kind of being the central figure. I believe Corey's a good guy. I believe that he is a good person. But they've really, I feel like, tried to maintain that bubble with Corey Seager and Corey Seager's clubhouse, for better or for worse. And it does feel like it needs some more characters. It needs a little bit of a jolt. When you're winning ball games, it's great. Nobody cares. Yeah, everybody's just calm and collected, and everybody keeps their head down and does their job. When that's not happening, when you're not winning games, there's not a lot of fans that connect well with what the Rangers culture, which is not really given a whole lot, right? Kind of playing a lot close to the chest. Evan Grant today coming out, advocating for there to be some kind of spokesman for the team because, Chris Young, he does his radio stuff, but, he's not a very, very vocal guy either. Corey Seager, your star player, definitely isn't a vocal guy. And Ray Davis never talks to the media. It just doesn't do a lot to build community with the fans. I really do think that that's where the Rangers have failed off the field. And I do think when the on the field product is bad, that gets under the microscope 100%. Absolutely. Keep going. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. Talking about a Rangers 7-0 loss and just going big picture here tonight. We got about 10 minutes or so, can't talk, left in the show. and we'll continue to take your comments and questions along the way. The Rangers are heading on a short flight to Sacramento. I'm sure they're getting ready to hop on the plane here in just a little bit, and then they will be playing a 3-game set against the A's. What could go wrong? What could go wrong, man? 3-game set against the A's coming right up, and the Rangers will pitch, Mackenzie Gore, Kumar Rocker, and Cody Bradford. I mean, look, not a terrible trio there. Not a terrible trio. Anybody going to be shocked if Jonah Heim goes off? Anybody going to be shocked if Jonah hits a couple of bombs over the weekend? I won't. Catcher, former team against the Rangers, recipe for disaster, man. Total disaster. We'll see what happens. Kumar tomorrow. Yes, Kumar tomorrow. And then what? Gore and then Bradford, right? Yeah. Heim torching us feels like a foregone conclusion. I will actually be surprised if he doesn't have a good series. It will shock me. It will surprise me. I would feel good if the Rangers bought. In fact, you guys know I said so many times, like either buy big or sell big. Like I was leading that charge forever. I was leading that charge in the offseason. I think some of you guys remember that. I said, make up your mind. Just stop being in the middle. Stop with the mediocre BS. Just go for it or reboot. And the fact that they really didn't do a lot in free agency besides Danny Jansen and, spare parts in the bullpen, which some have worked out really nicely. Again, just either buy big and go for it or sell and reboot the whole thing. That's the whole problem, really, in my opinion. I hear you. I think a lot of people can relate to this, Strad, and appreciate it. Don't drink, but this series made me want to go down a whole bottle of whiskey. Yeah, I mean, look, it's definitely depressing losing 3 out of 4 to the Angels. We'll say that. We will say that. Might jinx it, but I have a feeling Seager will pop off this coming series. You know what? I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think that's even a jinx type scenario. This is a ballpark that plays really, really small. And so I could see some Rangers actually having a decent series here. Let me paint kind of an underlying negative picture for you here, okay? I feel like this series has the potential to be like a bit of lipstick on a pig. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers have a nice offensive series playing in this minor league park. A lot of people will maybe start to do the victory laps like, man, see, I told you, see, this team can play. Everybody like doubting this team. And then you're going to go back to Arlington. And you know what? You play the Nationals, so they've got some young talent. Abby Ortiz probably leading the charge with how well he's been swinging the bat. I feel like this series has a chance to be a bit of fool's gold. I could see some players on the Rangers getting hot in the little league ballpark that we're about to play in. And, maybe by game 3, if they sweep on Sunday, let's say they sweep this series, it's going to start naturally building back up that hope again. But I just won't try. Even if they sweep the A's, you're not going to see me overly hyping it up. Hold me to it too, please. If on Sunday night I'm trying to sell you guys on a World Series championship, please check me. But I just have a feeling that they are most likely going to be better in this next series. And it's just going to have the potential to feel a bit like fool's gold, a bit like putting lipstick on a pig. I hope to be wrong. Hopefully this series is the catapult, puts them on that epic Little Rascals type run that we had last year. But it's not going to shock me if the Rangers overperform a little bit in this series playing at this ballpark. And then they do what they just did again in some way, shape, or form next week. Sugi just dropping bars. The comment on YouTube, the T on the hat has been standing for talentless these last few years. Oof. Oof. The burns are coming left and right from Rangers Nation, man. They just are. You lose 3 out of 4 to the Angels, that'll do it. That wasn't even me trying, man. Honestly, that's not even me trying. Look, I don't want to make light of such a depressing series, but as I like to say, it's like you got to laugh sometimes. You really do. It's like you're going to go insane otherwise. Rangers are a half game out of the playoffs. They are 2 games, technically 3 with the tiebreaker, out of the AL West. There are still, let's see, 40 games left. Was this game 122? Isn't that right? Game 122, there are 40 games left. You're a half game out. That's why I said I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, but it is hard after games like tonight that 1,000% feel like the nail in the coffin. Let's go to the series for the weekend, and I will continue to check comments here and there along the way. Again, Rangers dropped this game 7-0 to the Angels. They lose 3 out of 4 after winning game 1 in extra innings. A win a lot of us thought, man, maybe this would be the start of something special. Again, keep bringing it up. A Little Rascals-esque type run wasn't meant to be. Kumar Rocker on the bump. He is pitching against, looks like it to be determined for the A's. Rocker did pitch in Sacramento earlier this season. We're going to go to the game log on that really quick. So we have to go all the way back to April 15th. He went 4 2/3 and gave up 2 earned runs, and he walked 4. He did strike out 6 through 97 pitches. This was eventually a no decision. The Rangers on April 15th in Sacramento, they would go on to lose by the score of 6-5. Rangers put up 3 runs in the top of the 8th inning, but ultimately lost that game. That was when the A's were in first place. Remember that? April 15th, the A's were 10-8 and in first place in the AL West. Rangers were in second at 9-9. Funny, right? About where they were in April. Cade, we'll see you later, man. We're about to wrap up anyways, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, so that was Rocker's last start. Against the A's lineup, you've got Butler, 2 for 9 with a homer. Cortez, 2 for 5. Geloff, third baseman, 0 for 2. McNeil, veteran guy, right? New York Met guy, second baseman, 1 for 4. Muncy, Max Muncy, 0 for 1. Soderstrom, he was crushing in the series we played in Sacramento. Soderstrom, he is batting 4 for 7, 571 average lifetime against Rock. And then Jacob Wilson, 5 for 9 against Rocker. So Wilson, Soderstrom, got to look out for those 2 guys. A lot of other players, no ABs. Heim has never faced Rocker, obviously. And then you've got a number of other players, relatively no-name players. And then we don't have the lineup for the other side for Texas because there's no announced starter yet for the A's. By the way, the A's just kind of going through their schedule and how they've done of late. You look at their last 7 games or so, they are coming off a sweep of the Rays. The Rays are on a 9-game winning streak right now. I wonder if does that go back to the Texas Thursday game? Is that Rays 9-game winning streak going back to the Texas series? Maybe not. It's got to be pretty close, though. Let's go back to the A's. They've lost 3 in a row. They did win a series against the Red Sox at Fenway. They won 2 out of 3 at Fenway. They got swept by the Reds before that. And then before that, looks like they were swept by the Tigers. So they've been swept like multiple times in the last 4 series. They're coming off a sweep against the Rays. What could go wrong? What on earth could go wrong? The A's coming off a sweep, having lost, looks like about 7 of their last 10, 7 or 8 of their last 10. What on earth could go wrong? Dev, I'm with you. They do need somebody to light a fire under this team. And it doesn't seem like they've got that person in-house right now. And so those are things they're going to have to evaluate. I do want to go back to a comment from way back. I don't know who said it. There has been more and more fans I've noticed talking about Justin Veely. Just to be clear on my stance on Veely, I don't know how he survives if they don't make the playoffs. I think if he makes the playoffs, I could see them running it back with Veely. I would have never brought him back this year. They needed to clean house after the last 2 years, after Bochy leaving. They needed a clean house. They didn't do it. And I think they're paying the price for that a little bit right now with how the offense is played. I don't think there is any way that they bring him back. Is Osuna did he really go for a cycle? Please tell me that's true. Don't be trolling right now. Ka-chow, come on now. Don't be trolling. I know what I got to do when I get off the live if that really happened. Veely isn't a joke. He's the entire circus. Comment from YouTube. I mean, look, remember when they would show Veely talking to the players in the pregame, or in the pre-at-bat meetings? Like, it would be like when the other team was going to the pen, they would show like Jake Berger and Justin Veely in deep thought, deep game planning mode. And then like Berger would promptly go up and strike out on 3 pitches. I noticed they stopped doing that. I noticed they've stopped showing the pre-AB meetings as much with Justin Veely. Nate, exactly. You've definitely got a point there, my guy. The comment says, A's are in bad shape, which means we should sweep, right? Absolutely, my guy. If Kumar throws a no-hitter tomorrow, what? Dan, I'll be happy if he throws a quality start tomorrow. What do we say about him? We applaud him, and we say this is what we dreamed of when we drafted him. And then, you know what? More than watching a no-hitter tomorrow, that would be so much fun. It would be a bright spot in the season. I don't think there's any way it happens, but I would bet the mortgage on it. There's no way Kumar Rocker is throwing a no-hitter tomorrow. I would bet my entire life savings on no. And it would probably be like bet 50,000 to win $1. But yeah, I think if he just pitches a quality start, a lot of people will be happy. It's just consistency. Consistency, man. It's the name of the game. Always will be. Who would have thought Jock Peterson, comment from TikTok here, who would have thought Jock would be the only Rangers hitter with a pulse this year? Yeah, not me. I said the Rangers needed to get rid of Jock. And look, even after he started hitting consistently, I still said trade him at the deadline. You might still make the playoffs anyways. Yeah, the Kumar Rocker no-hitter talk, I cannot take credit for the idea, but I would be shocked if that happens. I'd be shocked if he makes it to the 8th inning. That would shock me, let alone a no-hitter. But yeah, it's hard to predict baseball, no doubt. Osuna getting called up in the morning would make me happy. That would definitely brighten my day. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I don't think it's going to happen, but could be wrong. Maybe they will do something like that, but I think they're going to save any promotions now for roster expansion, if I had to guess. Will I be... the Cowboys... I don't do a lot of the preseason stuff, just if you're curious. I will start getting into the Cowboys as things start heating up. I know they just, a little while ago, they inked Quinnen Williams. Amazing. think that's a great move. I'm not going to do a whole lot of investing into the preseason games. Nobody takes the preseason seriously. So it's hard for me in turn to get hyped up. Like, I enjoy watching the preseason NFL games casually, but I can't say I sit around like very intently watching them because you never really see anybody. It is fun, like kind of like spring training. You get to see some different players here and there, but I like to I like to probably wait until it gets to that maybe third, fourth game. The first couple of games, I feel like you're just seeing a lot of players that you're never going to see again. Like, some probably won't even make the team, but it is fun that football's back. I think that's what I want to harp on more than anything. Like, I'm a big football fan. Baseball and football are very close for me. Baseball is obviously edging out football, but it's very close. I love football, and I've plugged it a couple of times. I'll be doing football pods, football lives pretty frequently. We do Saturday shows for college football. We do Sunday shows for NFL, just so we'll have podcasts, we'll have the live streams going over the weekends, all football season long. And hopefully, we'll be talking about the Rangers in October as well. I would love to be real busy out of my mind during that October month. Here's hoping. I haven't given up yet, and I won't. We love this team. They absolutely sucked in this Angels series. They lost 3 of 4, but it's a new day tomorrow. We keep going, as I like to say. We got Kumar Rocker on the bump, and you've got a chance to do some damage against another really bad baseball team. Who knows what could happen? That's why you got to play the game. Rangers are in a bad spot right now, though, having lost 3 of 4 here. All hope is not lost, but the Rangers have to figure out a way, as we've been saying for so long, to stay consistent and to stack wins. A couple of things as we wrap things up. Tomorrow's game, by the way, anyone curious, game is going to be at, it'll be 8:40 for you guys in Texas. 6:40 start for me. 8:40 start for you guys in Texas. All right. Tonight, definitely, I think, told all of us Anaheim problem is not just an annoying thing. Like, this has been an issue all season long. And are we done playing the Angels? Hopefully, yes. Or do we play them again? No, we play them again in another series, don't we? We have one more home series against them. Maybe playing them at home will be the saving grace because we actually did beat them at home. But nothing's going to surprise me. Real unsure about deGrom and Eovaldi and their futures. As much as I would love for them to come back next week, they've been really up and down all season long. I am just a little bit worried at this point. Again, even if you do make it to October, what's your rotation going to look like? How reliable is it going to be with some of these injuries stacking up? We'll have to wait and see what happens with deGrom in the coming days. And, obviously we're all watching to see what Texas does this weekend. Are they going to continue to fold? Are they going to continue to keep on rolling down this hill? Or are they going to pick themselves up and do something special here like they did last year with the Little Rascals run? That's what I'm looking for. We'll see what happens. We'll be back tomorrow night, 8th inning, 9th inning, like we always are. A minor league ballpark, whatever, can only play where the schedule has you. Another late night. It will be another late night. I hope Wyatt lets out the anger on the A's. Ka-chow, I would agree. Comment from YouTube here. 100%. Wyatt has done some damage against the A's in his career. Maybe that 109-mile-an-hour single got him going. Who knows? But I'm going to go ahead and take off for the night, y'all. It is getting late here. I know it's late in Texas, almost 1 a.m. My goodness. Hope you guys have a good Friday tomorrow, and I'm hoping we'll see each other again, 8th, 9th inning, talking about another Rangers win. Rough night tonight, but as I always say to end every show, we keep going. God bless, and go Rangers.